Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Hello, and welcome to the 40 Ounce Fridays podcast, episode 24. Hope everyone is enjoying their Friday. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, or, let's kill the Native Americans Day. You know what I'm saying? No, but I hope everyone had a good day yesterday. The second half of my day was pretty chill. The work half was not, but that's whatever the point. So yeah. Intros aside, let's just get into what we're gonna get into today. First off, the intro, if you heard it and it sounded a little even more less quality than it normally does, that's because my Bluetooth headphones finally gave out on me. R.I.P. They put in their work, but it's my fault. It was raining. I was walking to work and I was throwing my hoodie up so I could, protect my face from the rain. And it knocked my headphones off my head, and since there was no cord attached to them, they just crashed right into the ground. So they broke. It was a sad time, sad boy hours. But I got a new pair of headphones, and these are just wired headphones, and they're much better sound quality than the Bluetooth ones, and they're wired, so I don't have to worry about them crashing into the ground like that. I just got to worry about this cord getting fucked up. But it has an inline mic, and for some reason, whenever I use headphones with an inline mic on the phone to do the podcast, when I play music, it usually isn't when I'm talking. I should probably check after I do this little segment if it's echoing or not. But usually when I play music while I have an inline mic with the headphones on the phone recording the podcast, back when I was still using my tablet to record before that charger gave out on it, it never echoed. But when it's on my phone, for some reason it echoes, and I can't get rid of the echo no matter what I do. Because I remember with my gaming headset before, I tried everything. You could turn the mic on and off, you could mute it and stuff like that, and it still would echo, and I don't understand why it does that. But hopefully next year we'll see some switch-ups. Like I said, I'm going to be getting a new headset. I'm going to be getting some kind of microphone work to help with the sound quality. And then I'm getting a new little tablet computer kind of thing. I just got to plan out how much everything's going to cost and when I'm going to get it. I might be able to get the headphones and the mic soon enough, maybe before the year ends. Christmas gift to myself, you know what I mean? And then next year I'll plan on getting the computer part, because that's going to be the most expensive thing. But yeah, that's why, because that's why the intro sounded the way it did. I had to unplug the mic and just kind of use the regular audio of the room to record, and that's why it sounded like that, because either that or have a really bad echo. So anywho, today we're going to be talking about, I'm just going to give my end-all be-all final take review on Pokemon. It shouldn't take that long. I think everything I wanted to talk about, I've talked about, and then if I'm ever going to get into spoilers later on, if we talk about Pokemon again, I'll let you guys know if it's spoilers or not, if you care. And but yeah, I'm just going to give my overall final thoughts and lay out a review. I don't like scoring things because it's weird, but this is me scoring it on my own personal score of 1 to 10, so take it with a grain of salt. It's up to you. Some people could think this game is a 3. Some people could think this game is an 11. It's just going to be how I feel about the game. And then I'm just going to shoot the shit. We're just going to talk about random stuff for a little bit. I don't have a lot of time today, so we'll probably only be recording for an hour max. But, yeah, that's pretty much going to be the podcast. So, for starts off, we'll get right into this review. So let's talk Pokemon Sword and Shield, or more specifically Pokemon Shield, because that is the version I played. As of now, I can say I completed the game. I completed the main story about last week, at the end of last week when I did the podcast. I finished up the end game later in that day after I was finished doing all my other work that I needed to do. And, excuse me, the only thing left to do are, like, general, like, endless endgame things, like, Okay, so first I want to address some rumors that I heard before the game came out. These weren't leaks, these were rumors. But because the leaks, like the National Dex leak, with the official cut and only 400 Pokemon getting in, that was spoiled and revealed, and some other little details were actually confirmed, revealed. People started believing these rumors a lot more, because it's just like, well, we're already getting all these leaks, these rumors might be true too, and it's only a matter of time before we see proof. But I saw a rumor that really disheartened a lot of people about the game and really made people like, oh, well, fuck Game Freak, this is trash. And I'm so glad it wasn't real, because, one, it would have sucked if it was real, and two, we can see that there are a lot of people praying for this game's fucking downfall because they were putting these lies into the air like that. If the game was really that bad and you didn't have that much faith into it, all you had to do was tell the truth about it and stand by your beliefs, I guess. But people felt the need to tell lies or spread false information to kind of fuel the fire of hatred towards Pokemon Sword and Shield before it even came out. And I just find that really, like, sad. Like, if you really don't like a game that much before release, if you really feel like it is going to disappoint you that much, then just see if it does. Why do you need to try to sow the seeds of hate for everyone else? Why you gotta ruin it for everyone else? But anywho, the rumors were that, and only like 10% of these rumors are true. There's only one aspect of this rumor is true. Only one aspect of the rumor is true. But the twist about that is the one aspect of it that is true doesn't even hurt the game, really. So, pretty much what I saw, what a friend showed me, was a rumor going around that Pokemon's League, once you get all your badges, does not contain an Elite Four, which it doesn't, but I'm going to get into why it's not that big of a deal that Galar doesn't have an Elite Four, and how it kind of fits the narrative better for this game. Everyone you battle, like pretty much in this, what's replaced by the Elite Four, only has like 4 Pokemon each, which is false. Completely, utterly fucking false. And I think it said Leon only had like 4 or 5 Pokemon. False. Completely false. If you don't know who Leon is, he's the Galar region champion. You can't replay the league again after you beat the game. False. And there is no endgame content. There's just a battle tower. False. There is a battle tower, but there is endgame content after you beat the main story. So, first off, I want to say that, yes, there is no Elite Four in the Galar region. But, I also want to say that this is not a bad thing, because the way they chose to handle it, I actually prefer. One thing I've always wanted from a Pokemon game is for the Pokemon League to be more like the TV show, where instead of, like, after getting all 8 gym badges in a Pokemon game, you do Victory Road, and you can still do Victory Road. I'd still be down to do that. But you fight the Elite Four and then the champion. That's always been fun, and that's always been a classic thing of Pokemon. But I really would have liked it if it was more like the show. You know, where Ash went to the league after getting all 8 badges, and all these other guys have 8 badges, so they compete in a tournament. All the badge winners compete in the tournament to see who's the best. I've always liked that aspect. And tournaments are cool. Like, anime and tournament arcs, shonen anime mainly, and tournament arcs go together fucking hand in hand. It's a fun, beautiful thing. You get to see cool little fights. People do all their neat and creative skills. You get introduced to characters. Some people have development through the tournament. There's a lot of ways you can handle a tournament arc. And for Ash, it's kind of like that peak, like, season finale grand thing. And, you know, Ash recently won the Alola League, which was cool, because, what was I going to say? Because that's his first league championship. That's his first league win, I mean. And it was the first Pokemon League they had in Alola. I don't know if that's the first one they had in Alola in the anime, but in the games, that the first time they have a Pokemon League is when you are taking part in the Island Challenge. And I feel like this is a good way to mix things up, because in Sun and Moon they tried to mix things up. You know, they took out gyms, they had the Island Challenges, and I find it ironic that people got mad that the gyms got taken out when 7 Gen went around. When I heard people complaining since like Gen 4 that it's the same fucking shit. You just do gyms, and you do the Elite Four, and you beat the game. You do gyms, and you beat the... I heard people complaining about the fact that it was the same thing. So then when Pokemon was like, alright, we'll try to change it up a little, with the gym challenges essentially still, or the island challenges essentially still being gyms, just kind of more like puzzly, and instead of finding a gym leader, you find a giant Pokemon. They tried to switch it up, and people were mad. Not because they didn't... It's one thing to be like, I don't really like the island challenge. That's different. The island challenge, I agree, could have been a lot better. I think Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon did a better job at it, but it could have overall been a lot better. But to say that, why you took the gyms out? Because you guys were complaining that there were gyms over and over in the first place. So, I think a way to handle it and kind of switch up the formula a little was to do it the way Sword and Shield did it, which we still had 8 gyms, but first of all, there were game exclusive gyms. There are 4 gyms in particular that are game exclusive. The 4th gym you compete in, and I believe the 6th gym you compete in, are exclusive depending on what game you have. So if the 4th gym in Sword, you have the fighting type gym. The 4th gym in Shield, you have a ghost type gym. And then the 6th gym in Sword, it's a rock type, I believe, or I don't remember for sure because I don't have Sword, but I believe it's a rock type gym. And then in 6th gen, you get in the 6th gym in Shield, you get the Superior gym, the Ice gym. And I say Superior because you get Thick Mama Melanie. Thick Mama Melanie is love. Thick Mama Melanie is life. But yeah, so you get those gyms, and it works with the story too because there's a minor and a major league in Sword and Shield for gyms. So every year, I guess they compete, and the top 8 gyms become the major league gyms. The major league gyms are the gyms you have to compete in order to take the gym challenge, and the 10 other gyms become minor league gyms. So I guess you don't have to compete in them. One thing I would have liked is if you still could compete in the minor league gyms, and it'd be an optional thing. Like, you don't have to do them, but you could do them. And you get introduced to, like, other gym leaders. Because there's only 2 alternate gym leaders depending on versions. You don't see... So how many... That's like 10. So that means there's 8 gym types unaccounted for, but we know they exist because there are major and minor leagues. So, Sword and Shield 2... Pokemon Gun, Bow and Arrow, whatever they plan to do, I hope they don't do fucking 8th gen like how they did 6th gen and don't make an updated version of the game, because people are going to be, oh, updated version make you spend money again. It's like, I mean, well, you didn't have to buy Sword and Shield. Like, if you really expected another version to come out, you could just not buy Sword and Shield and just wait for the updated version. And if they don't make an updated version, then boom, you can get Sword and Shield at a discounted price at that fucking point. But I'm fucking going all over the place today. What was I talking with the gyms? Yeah, I would have liked that if you could do the minor league gym. So if they ever do an updated version, I would love like the option to do a minor gym. And also, I'll get into the other thing in a second. Let me finish this up. But yeah, instead of Elite Four at the end after you do the gym challenge that you're kind of like, you know, in love with a few little twists to them. You do gym missions, which are like the gym puzzles you would do when you go into a gym, but they're a little more intricate. It's kind of like what they were going for with the island trial puzzles, but I think the gym missions did it a little better. Also, there were rumors that you would require certain types before you could compete at a gym in Sword and Shield, and I remember hearing those rumors like way, way earlier in the year. Those are false. You didn't need specific Pokemon typings to compete in any gym. Ever. Period. The gym missions were you take a gym mission. If you complete the gym mission, you get the right to take on the gym leader. And that was it. In the gym missions, you could there were no requirements for the gym missions. You just did them when you were ready. The only requirement was having enough badges. Like, you couldn't take on the 8th gym leader when you only had 5 badges, you know what I mean? Shit like that, the general stuff. But after that, you would go to the league in the big city of Winden, and it was really cool. And instead of fighting the Elite Four, the top 4 trainers to pass the gym challenge compete in what is known as the semifinals for the Champion Cup. Now, at first, I thought what the Champion Cup was just going to be all the winning kids in the gym challenge competing for the shot at fighting Leon at the end. And so at first I was kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, it's only 4 people, so that means there's only going to be 2 matches. And I beat them, and I was just like, I kind of wish it was a longer tournament. No, they were not kidding. They were like, this is the semifinals. The finals of the Champion Cup is the winner of the semifinals competes alongside the other gym leaders. And the winner of this tournament fights Leon at the end. So you get to fight the gym leaders again, but this time the gym leaders are going all out. They have... Okay, so the 4 Pokemon thing. I don't remember 100% if Marnie and Hop only had 4 Pokemon or 5 Pokemon, but I'm 99% sure they had 5 Pokemon because the last time I fought Hop outside of the Champion Cup, he had 5 Pokemon, so I don't know why they would cut it down. But I know for sure during the finals where you're fighting the gym leaders, everyone you battle against has 5 Pokemon. So I was just kind of like, so that was a fucking lie. When you fight Leon at the end, he has a full team of 6, so that was a fucking lie. So I'm just saying, so I was like, this is really cool. You actually compete in a tournament for the right to fight the champion. And it's awesome that they do that, especially since, you know, the gym battles take place like big stadiums. That's how the tournament does too. They all take place in these giant, these giant fucking stadiums. So that was something exciting to watch. So yeah, no Elite Four, but I like the twist they did. It was the ideas they were going for in Sun and Moon, where they were trying to shake things up a bit to add a little bit of freshness to the formula. But I feel like Sword and Shield executed it correctly. So, respect to them. The people you battle against do indeed have more than 4 Pokemon. Everyone has 5 Pokemon except for Leon, who has 6. Oh, and yourself, of course. There is a battle with Bede, and I believe Bede only has 4 Pokemon. But this is the one exception, and Bede wasn't even technically taking part in the tournament. He shows up to challenge you after some story events happen with his character. So that was a part of his character development. And the reason he had 4 Pokemon, sorry guys, spoilers, is because Bede becomes the gym leader of the Fairy Gym. So he only had 4 Pokemon. So boom, 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 boom. That explains that. But everybody else has a full team. In regards to you not being able to retake the league, you can. You 100% can. And the way they do it is you could go back to that tournament stadium, that big-ass stadium arena where you took place in the Champions Cup, and they'll be like, oh, Champion Kyle, you know, me, da-da-da-da-da, would you like to defend your title? So you do a tournament, but it's just like 8 people, and everyone's chosen at random except for you, and you can invite one person who you have a trainer card of. So, you know, if you've played Sword and Shield over the course of the game, you get trainer cards, which are kind of like sports cards. Pokemon battling and being a gym leader and a trainer is seen as a sport. You're an athlete. So they're like gym cards. Or, like baseball cards or basketball cards. So you can use those cards to call upon someone to invite them to take place in the tournament to try to take your title. And you compete in these brackets. And everyone you battle against in these 1 of 3 matches, because it's 8-4-2, wants your title. So that's the whole title defense thing. They did something similar to that in Sun and Moon, the idea of that. Like, after you beat the Elite Four, I believe once you get to... After beating the game the first time, you can replay the Elite Four, and then when you get up to the champion spot, instead of you challenging whoever was there to be champion, someone comes up and challenges you for your champion spot, and it could be like one of I think 10 different people. That was something I actually really liked from. I think that was an Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon exclusive thing. I don't think they did that in Sun and Moon, but I know for sure they did it in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like different trainers would come up, and try to challenge you for your title. So that was something I really liked, so I'm glad they brought that idea back. So yes, so actually it is false. You can indeed retake the challenge again, and it's a title defense kind of thing. You just can't do the whole Champion Cup, like the semifinals and the finals in Leon. So maybe they were saying you can't rebattle Leon, but I don't know, because I have Leon's trainer card. So maybe I can invite Leon to the tournament. The first time I did the retaking of the tournament for the title defense, I invited HiK-Up, because fuck you guys, I like HiK-Up. Everyone's hating on HiK-Up. HiK-Up has great character development, especially during the endgame portion. Which brings me to that last part. There is fucking endgame at the end of Sword and Shield. There's an endgame story. It's not on the level of intensity as the Delta episode from Oraz, but it's just as much content given as Oraz. And I know people are going to be like, no, it's not. Or Delta episode was longer. It wasn't. The Delta episode was not that long. But it felt like a fun, satisfying little endgame piece to have. And I was talking with a friend about this, and we had a disagreement because I said, you know, X and Y doesn't have a lot of endgame content. It has a lot of stuff that revitalizes and revamps and improves the competitive scene, which is very much appreciated. But they didn't have a lot of, like, in terms of the game story. And he was like, well, they had the Looker episodes. For me, the Looker episodes, they weren't enough. And we disagreed, it's whatever. But my thing about the Looker episodes is they're fun and they're interesting. But it didn't feel like that extra, like that last bit of oomph. You know what I mean? Like, the Delta episode was that last bit of oomph because you, like, fly on the back of Mega Rayquaza into space to fight Deoxys. And then with the endgame and Sword and Shield, the endgame and Sword and Shield is how you get Zacian or Zamazenta respectively. And you're fighting against these dudes who are like, oh, we're the ancestors of the rightful kings, da-da-da-da-da, and they're kind of silly, but they're causing trouble all over the region. And you get the right to take on, depending on your version, so I got the right to take on Zamazenta and catch him. And HiK gets Zacian, I believe that's what it's called, the sword one. So we end up getting these protector Pokemon because they deem us both worthy. And it also goes along with HiK-Upp's character development. You know what I mean? It felt impactful to the storyline, is what I'm saying when I say endgame stuff. Like, it's like, oh, this meant something. If you're going to do endgame, I say you either have to do stuff like that, like the Delta episode, or the endgame of Sword and Shield, or you have to have a lot of, like, things to do afterwards, too. Like how, after beating Emerald, you got the Battle Frontier. You know what I mean? Like, that, it has to be one or the other, or both. I'm welcome to both. And so, X and Y didn't do that to me. Like, the Looker episodes were cool, but I feel like one thing that would have helped the Looker episodes is if there was several kind of events like that after you beat the endgame. Like, you have the Looker episodes, but then maybe in another town they have, like, a little side storyline on par with the Looker episodes, but, you know, it's something, you know what I mean? If they had a couple of those, like if they had 2 or 3 of those, I'd be like, okay, you still have several little things to do. But you had the Looker episodes and you had the little Battle Mansion thing, and that was about it. And I was like, And then they just give you the legendaries. I think it was it Gen 6 that just started doing that, where they just gave away Pokemon, or was it Gen 5 where they just were like, here, have a legendary Pokemon? And there are no events to them. There were an extra event thing. That's what I hope. If they add Pokemon through events or stuff through Sword and Shield, I hope it's an event. Or how they're doing the Max Snorlax raid. Like, see, they're doing endgame stuff. It's like, you'll have an opportunity to catch the Gigantamax Snorlax starting December, whatever. That's cool. They're adding stuff. The competitive is going to have seasons. We have the Sword and Shield endgame. There's a battle tower you can... So people were saying there wasn't a lot of endgame content. I'm just like, it's just about as much endgame content as any Pokemon game had. I think when people say there's no endgame content, I think a lot of people are saying, like, there's no Battle Frontier, but I'm just like, but there was extra stuff to do. Like, there was still extra stuff to do. So, I don't know. That's my personal take on it. Also, a lot of people were saying this game was short, or, like, too short. 2 things. First of all, no, it wasn't. Just like, it's just as long as any other Pokemon game I've ever played in my life. put in about, I want to say, 56 hours by the time I did everything. Maybe 60. Maybe like 60 max by the time I did everything, including the in-game stuff. So, and I still have to go around the wild area catching all the Pokemon, do all the raid battles to try to get the Gigantamax ones. So there's still stuff to do. Oh, excuse me. Those are going to cycle in as well. So it's just like, but 60 hours to beat the game. That's just around the point it takes me to beat any other main story / endgame stuff of any other Pokemon game I've ever played. I kind of burn through Pokemon games and then I just fuck around for like months and months and months and months and months until they announced a new one. So, I don't know. Also, another reason why I feel that, a good reason why I feel that way too is because we're older now, so a lot of people, like adults, understand how to just burn through a Pokemon game easier than when you were a kid. You know what I mean? And it's not me like, oh, I burned through the game. Dude, I explore every nook and cranny of a region. Like, I would be sailing around once I could get on the water, like, looking for shit, looking for TMs. I've searched every corner of the wild area, every corner of every town. Like, everything I can possibly search for, I've searched for. So, and I put in about 60 hours. So I'm like, that's the general length for a main story of a Pokemon game. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And the other big reason, like somebody, I forget who, I saw someone retweet it, but it was a video of some guy streaming, and pretty much what he was saying was, it was addressing like the whole idea, the argument of this game being too short. Well, he's like, the game might feel too short. This is me paraphrasing what he said, but pretty much he was saying the game might be too short, purely because there's no there's no random encounters. You know what I mean? You see the Pokemon in the overhead. The only time you don't is like when you're in the bushes occasionally and you see like that exclamation point and it either like shrubs through the grass towards you or runs away from you. But even then you can see it. You can see which direction it's moving in. So even then I wouldn't really say that's a random encounter because you can avoid it. It's not like you'll be in a cave and then you'll be like every 5. He was saying that. He was like, you know how you go to a cave or through like some bushes and every 5 seconds like there's always a random encounter. And he was saying, he's like, that probably takes up about 30% of everyone's Pokemon playtime. Because you're either going to fight it, knock it out, get experience, and you're just going to keep doing that. You're going to catch it if you don't already have it, or you're going to spend time trying to run away from it if you don't successfully run on the first try. So he was saying that probably takes up a lot of game time. So that's artificial game time added to the Pokemon games. This game does not have that since the Pokemon are in the overworld. So you're probably spending... It probably feels like the game is shorter, but you're probably doing as much as you did normally. There's just no random encounters. So I was just like, you know what? He poses a good fucking point. Random encounters do eat up time in a Pokemon game. Because you have to take the time to wait for the battle to fully load up. Oh, it's that Pokemon. And then you're going to be like, am I going to fight it to knock it out to get some XP? Am I going to weaken it enough to try to catch it? Or am I going to try to run? Am I going to run successfully on the first time? No? Okay, well, I'm stuck for another turn. I got to wait for it to move. Now I got to try to run again. So, people saying the game is too short, it really isn't. It's the same length as any old Pokemon game. And even though I said this was going to be short, I managed to talk about Pokemon for another 30 minutes again. Which just goes to show how much I actually did really like Sword and Shield. I really, 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 really like Sword and Shield. Galar is probably in the upper half of my favorite regions in terms of just region itself. It's definitely... I have to like really sit down and think about all 8 regions again, but it's definitely within the top 4. It's in that upper half. What else is in that upper half, you say? Like Kanto, but I'm not a Gen 1er, but Kanto is always going to be near and dear to my heart. I love the way Kalos look. Kalos is beautiful. Kalos is probably one of my favorite regions in terms of design of region. And like, you know, Hoenn or Johto, I don't know for sure. It's hard to decide between those two. I like every region, but you know there has to be something at the top and something at the bottom of the list. But this is just me talking about region design itself. I liked almost every single Pokemon design in the game, if not every single Pokemon design in the game that they added. I like the way these Pokemon look. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. That's your opinion. No one's forcing you to say. No one's forcing you to be like, "Oh, I like." You have to like these. So don't force me to be like, "You really think this Pokemon looks good? This Pokemon is." I'm like, that's your opinion. And again, I think I said this last week. Pokemon. The thing that's cool about Pokemon is like at this point, there's almost like 900 just about in total, if you count the ones that also got cut from the game. With different forms, with different variations, with Mega Evolutions, we have Ultra Beast stuff too, and all this shit. There's a lot of things to look at in the world of Pokemon. So, I think the cool part about that is everyone can have their favorites. Everyone can have the Pokemon they think looks the coolest, looks the best, this and that. And we don't all have to like the same fucking 10 Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like, Charizard's a big crowd favorite. Not everyone likes Charizard still, though. You know. My favorite Pokemon is Eevee. My favorite Pokemon of all 900 Pokemon out there in the world is Eevee. Just goes to show you, everyone can have their favorites. What's my favorite Pokemon of this region of Galar? Cinderace. Cinderace is my buddy. That fire starter is fucking dope. Great attack, great speed, decent health, alright defense. Don't worry about that special shit. He is not for him. That's for the birds. But his special move is fucking fantastic. People are like, but it only has 90 accuracy. I'm like, but 120 base physical damage with a chance to burn. Give that nigga a wide lens, and you will not miss. I promise you. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The characters, I was talking about that last week. I love the characters because they actually have growth. Like I said, I would have liked more growth from some of these characters, like more development bits here and there from them. But they did have growth as a character, and that's something we haven't seen in a while in a Pokemon. Like real solid good growth. We have seen growth over the gens still, but like real like strong. Like that's the main focus. I feel like the characters developing took more shine than the main plot. And that might sound like a bad thing on the surface, but the main plot still was pretty solid. It was still pretty fun and enjoyable. But it felt more like an adventure. Like, it felt more like you were journeying the world. It felt more like that Gen 1 feeling, or that Gen 2 feeling, where it was more about that adventure than, like, the dark, overhanging plot entirely that was consuming the whole gameplay aspect. So I liked the way that felt. Was it a perfect game? By no means, no. No, not at all. But I don't think any Pokemon game is perfect. And we can see, like, and that's what those updated versions are for. People are like, oh, they always do updated versions. But I think it's good that they do, because maybe people that were on the fence about Sword and Shield and hear, you know, like, an actual review that's actually talking about things in the game from someone who actually finished the game, this and that. It's one of those things you can be like, okay, maybe I'll sit out on this one. But then you see, like, that updated version coming out, and you see all the things they're adding, all the things they're changing up and fixing, and it's stuff that was being complained about before in, like, the original version. So it's just like, oh, maybe I'll get this updated version now since it's a little better and has these improvements. So I always appreciate that. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's up to you whether or not you want to buy Sword and Shield, or if you want to wait and see if they're going to make an updated version. And if they're not, then boom, you could probably get Sword and Shield for a little cheaper online somewhere. At that point, get a little discount. But I think the game is great. I think the game is fun. I had a good time. The National Dex thing didn't ruin any of it for me. And I went in already knowing personally for me it was not, because I always get new Pokemon. Every time I start a new Pokemon game, I get Pokemon exclusively from that region to make my team for the main story, and then I start catching whatever at endgame. So yeah, it does suck that certain Pokemon that I really, really loved didn't make it. I think from, like, my original Dream Team, 2 of them didn't make it. Like, Fennekin didn't make it, because Delphox was on my original Dream Team. And 3, because 2 can't, because I'll cycle them out since there's more than, I take, like, my favorite Pokemon from each gen. And arguably Delphox was, like, one of my favorites because I like that fire starter. I probably could look it over and see more, though. But Ampharos, my baby Ampharos didn't make it in. And Toucannon didn't make it in. I fucking Toucannon is my favorite Gen 7 mon. Fuck you guys. But that's okay. That's okay. Because I fell in love with a lot of new Pokemon out here in this region. I had a great time. Fun stuff. Oh, also would love if they added more clothes. Like, if they had DLC, like paid DLC, I feel like if they do add more Pokemon to the region over time, like the cut ones, that should be free. Those should be like free updates, like, oh, something happened in the wild area. You know how Battle Royales change like the landscape permanently through like seasons and shit? They could do that to the wild area. Oh, something happened in the wild area, now more Pokemon are here, and then you could see new Pokemon species and catch them. I feel like those should be free updates. I would pay like $3 for extra clothes pack, like the stores expand on more clothes. I would love more clothes. That's one thing I wish they had, some more clothes. That's me. That's a minor thing though. Doesn't it hurt too much gameplay. But overall, subjectively, if I had to give this game a rating, like my personal fun with it, like 9 out of 10. Like, that's me. That's a subjective score. That's me saying, like, how much fun did I have? 9 out of 10. I had a great fucking time. I had a great fucking time playing Sword and Shield. Objectively, if we're really talking about the game, what it did right, what it did wrong, balancing, it's just as solid as any Pokemon game I've ever played, so I'd give it a solid 8. If you think I'm being too generous, I don't know. I was going to give it about a 7 or a 7.5, but throughout this week, thinking about the game, especially after I like finish everything and just think about the fun times I had, all the memories, doing all that shit, memories already. It's just like that feeling, it gave me a sense of nostalgia from a Pokemon game. And if you can give me a sense of nostalgia while being something completely new, you're getting brownie points from me, boy. That's what Dragon Quest XI did for me. When I played Dragon Quest XI for the first time and I was streaming it on the PS4, I said that on stream. I'm like, it gave me a sense of nostalgia, and it's something I had never even played. And that's kind of not as strongly as Dragon Quest XI, but Pokemon Shield did give me this sense of nostalgia that I hadn't felt in a Pokemon game. The last time I felt a sense of nostalgia in a Pokemon game was Kalos. And it wasn't because I hadn't played a Pokemon game in a while. I had just recently played Black and White 2. Like, replayed it. And, like, I played Black and White shortly before that. Like, I was playing Pokemon games pretty recently prior to X and Y's announcement. So it wasn't like, oh, I haven't played a Pokemon game since Gen 3. So this feeling on it, like, it just gave you that feeling of, like, this is a Pokemon game. And a lot of people saying they're being lazy, they cut corners, they did this could have looked better. I think things could have looked better graphically, but the thing about graphics and textures and shit, patches, updates, hopefully they do that stuff. I'm not going to say they are going to, this is Nintendo we're talking about, but hopefully they do that stuff. I would love to see some graphical enhancements and touch-ups, because the wild area does kind of look a little... It doesn't look as good as, like, everywhere else in the game. Graphically, it looks a little less. I don't want to say it's too much dumbed down in comparison, but you can see updates, texture updates, and stuff like that to really, like, help touch up the game and make it look a little better. So hopefully they do that. And I don't know. People are saying, like, they're being lazy and cutting corners, but I felt a lot of, like, love went into this game. Personally. And you can call me a sheep, you can call me a bootlicker, you can call me a shill, and hashtag Game Freak Glide, I feel it. Those are all different controversies that should be discussed and addressed. But in terms of that actual game, I felt a lot of, like, love in that game for Pokemon. So yeah, I give it 8 out of 10. Objectively. Subjectively, 9 out of 10. I had a great fucking time. That's just me, though. Take my reviews with a grain of salt. Like I said, I was going to give it a lower score. I was going to give it like a 7 or a 7.5. But that nostalgia factor just... So it's like between a 7.5 and an 8. I'll say that. Maybe an 8's being a little too generous. I don't know. But I loved it just as much as I loved a lot of older Pokemon games. So it's definitely going to be one of those ones I think back to a lot. But I talked about Pokemon for 40 minutes. That was most of this podcast. I said I wasn't going to do it, and I did it. This game, see, I told you guys, this game, like I said, I recommend it. It's up to you guys. But I mean, it's not like I have much else to talk about today. Anyway, I didn't really have any other main subjects. I was like, let me just officially give out this review, and then we'll just shoot the shit. We'll just talk about some stuff. I don't know. But there were a few things I was like thinking about, mulling over, and like talking about. What was one of them? Oh, something I saw this morning that I think is a little silly is if you guys remember Blue's Clues, like me, if you were a young child, a little chillin', watching Blue's Clues as a kid, you remember my boy Steve solving mysteries in his green sweater and his couch with his little sketch pad. Blue finding clue. You guys remember Blue's Clues? I don't need to talk about it. They change hosts due to like different things, and everyone knows about the whole Steve. Remember like what happened? Oh, did he die? Did he commit suicide? Did he get cancer? And that's why he doesn't have hair. And Steve just wanted to do other things. He wanted to do music. Like the actual dude just wanted to do like music. He wanted to live his life. He didn't want to be a Blue's Clues host forever, and they got a different guy. And now years later, they have a new guy. Like the show's been revamped. And they have a new guy. And they're all supposed to, kind of be like this interrelated family. So Steve and the second dude, like, guest star on it. And Steve's like this detective because I believe that's how they wrote Steve off the show. He wanted to make his own detective agency because of all the Blue's Clues shit. So that's cool. And you see him with his little trench coat and his little hat. And everybody was gushing over that over the internet a few months ago because that's fucking childhood. But people are hating on the newest guy. I believe he's some form of Asian. I don't want to like specifically pick one because I don't remember for sure. But I believe he is Asian. I think he might be like Filipino or Cambodian. I don't remember. But they're hating on him not because of his race. I just want to say that, not because he's a new guy, because he's not Steve. You know what I mean? And it's like the same thing when the second dude came in. Like, there's no Steve. This is this. This is not my Blue's Clues. This fucking sucks. Why would they ruin Blue's Clues? My childhood. I'm just like, first of all, y'all are grown-ass people. Blue's Clues was your show, like, 17 years ago. Like, I'm 25. I haven't watched Blue's Clues in fucking ages. Because I'm an adult. And even before I was an adult, I long grew past Blue's Clues. That's always going to be, like, a part of my childhood and something near and dear to my heart. But at the same time, it's like, nigga, what the fuck? Who cares if they got a new host? And I feel like I probably was that way with the second guy. But, you're younger and more immature, and you just like to hate on shit and say shit to be a part of the majority. But as an adult now, like, especially, I'm about to be on the later half of my 20s. In January 15th, I'm going to be 26. Who the fuck cares? Honestly, if they have a new host. Of course they're going to have a new host. Do you think Steve is going to want to be the host of Blue's Clues for the rest of his fucking life? Like, why? Why would anyone want to do that for the rest of their life? People need to get over the fact that shows get rebooted and remade into different things. Are changed up. Like, some things should stay, like, gone. Like, with Blue's Clues has always been an ongoing thing. It hasn't been like, oh, Blue's Clues hasn't aired in 10 years. We fucking vamp the show. Like, I don't like reboots or remakes or things like that. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. But if a show's ongoing, like, Blue's Clues just hasn't ever stopped. Of course, every, like, maybe, like, decade or so, they're gonna want to replace the host, because either the host is going to get tired of it and want to do something new with their life besides being on this children's show all the time. Or, they just want to change hosts. It's like, hey, man, you're getting a little old. And that dude should be fine. He picked up a bag, So he's out there. But people need to get over the fact that things change over the years. Like, yeah, they're not ruining your childhood. It's not like they were like, yeah, fuck Steve, let's shit on his legacy. It's just like, that's always going to be there. Steve from Blue's Clues, those episodes are always going to be. Is his name Steve? I might not even be saying this nigga's name. I'm pretty sure his name was Steve. Y'all remember the white nigga in the green sweater. But It's just like, no one's ever going to take that away from you. So I never, especially when I got older, I never understood that. Like, they're ruining my childhood. How? You already had the childhood. The childhood is done. How was your childhood ruined? How can someone ruin something that already happened? You know what I mean? Like, with reboots and remakes, I think they're completely unnecessary. I don't understand how it ruins the original work. It might, like, make a mockery of it, or something of that nature, but it can't ruin something that's already set in stone. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Teen Titans Go. I know a lot of people, like, turned around to it because it has these other interesting writing aspects. I'm personally just not a big fan of Teen Titans Go, because I just want regular Teen Titans back. I want that show to finish, and that's the main reason. I just want that show to finish. That show never really, like, ended, like, with an official, like, show ending. It was weird the way that show went off, man. And I used to hate heavily on Teen Titans Go. Now I'm just like, whatever about it. I don't care. But that's the reason why I don't really, like, watch or enjoy the show, because it just makes me, like, I just want them to bring the regular fucking show back. That's it. That's all I want. But whatever, dude. Also, Teen Titans Go isn't really made for me. I mean, in a way it is. The writers know the joke of, like, people want the old Teen Titans back. But it is what it is, dude. I understand when a children's show, especially like a rebooted children's show, isn't for me. Like, they didn't reboot this show for me. They rebooted this show in a formula and style for a new audience of children. Children these days aren't like children like us. And we weren't the same kind of kids our parents were as kids. And so on and so forth. Every generation is different, you guys. Not everything's going to be the same. Everyone's like, oh, this show used to be so much better. These cartoons, these shows are stupid nowadays. But I'm just like, your parents probably said the same shit about cartoons in general when you were a kid. Like, cartoons are stupid. Now you're talking shit about another generation's cartoons? When these cartoons probably weren't made for you in the first place? Like, of course you don't find them entertaining. You're not the target audience. The target audience is children. Like little kids. Like, oh my god. There are cartoons that can be for kids, that provoke thought, and have greater messages. Yeah, oh my god, I'm tired, you guys. Adventure Time. Even regular show had some deeper meanings to it here and there, and that randomness of... It was great. Steven Universe especially is doing stuff like that. Gumball had some fantastic writing. And those are kids' shows. But they do have some deeper meanings to them. Even Teen Titans Go has those episodes where it's just like, oh, okay, I get the joke. A kid would get that joke, but I get that joke. And it's not even like a dirty joke. It's just like, oh, wow. But like I said, I just don't prefer Teen Titans Go because I just want the original show back. But that's just me. And I think people need to get over that. Just be over it, dude. The shows you knew are gone. Let them rest. I do agree, reboots and remakes do not need to be made, but like in the situation of Blue's Clues, it's an ongoing series still. That's like getting mad. That's like turning on Sesame Street and getting mad at how Sesame Street looks right now. You grew out of Sesame Street. Sesame Street didn't stop airing. They have to keep doing stuff and adding new ideas for the newer generation of kids and the way the world works now, and things are more accepting of certain aspects of life and culture. So yeah, you may not like it, but nigga, they don't make Sesame Street for you. Oh my god. They don't make Sesame Street for you no more. My stomach. Hurted. But, yeah, man, y'all gotta chill on that shit, honestly. And you may be like, but this, I'm like, but come on, dude, it's not for you, bro. It's not for you. Watch something for your age. Or watch a cartoon that does bring up meaning and thought. Watch Adventure Time. Adventure Time is fucking great. Oh my god, it's so good. And it starts off so silly, and then you get to this plot, this meat. Adventure Time doesn't finish any of its character arc stories. I'm like, maybe you didn't finish Adventure Time because it did. So, because they did. They did all of that. Adventure Time is one of my favorite shows of all time. It's probably my favorite American cartoon of all time, if we're being fully honest. Like, my favorite anime is Yu Yu Hakusho, but my favorite, like, cartoon show, like, American cartoon show, probably Adventure Time. I fucking love that show. I remember I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like, oh, the final season came out. I'm gonna just rewatch the whole series, because it was all up on Hulu, and I watched every episode, like, marathoned it. I would get home from work, and I'd just marathon it. It was it's such a fun, great story. I loved it. The maturity and evolution of Finn as he grew up, because he starts off, the start of the show, he's 13. At the end of the show, he's 17. Like, the kid aged. He grew up. He learned. He changed as a character. He used to be super wild and aggressive and ready to fight. Then, like, in the middle of the show, like, the first 3 seasons, you get, like, this wild child. And then in the next 3 seasons, he's kind of more mature, he's more experienced, he's going through stuff, he's thinking about his feelings. And then by the last 3 seasons, Finn is very, like, he's more like, maybe we should try to, like, talk this out without violence. Like, maybe we shouldn't have a war. Like, the war that was about to happen in Season 9, Season 1 Finn would have been fully fucking down for. Season 9 Finn was just like, I don't know if we should be doing this. Like, he really questioned whether this right from wrong. He wasn't just mindlessly following things. And the growth of the character and Jake's whole arc, you know, Jake was Jake throughout the series, but he had those moments of, like, growth. Like, he had kids, he became a dad, and you had those episodes where he was with his kids, and he had those bonding moments, and the whole thing where he learns about his origins and what he really is, and he has to come to terms and accept that. One of my favorite episodes of Adventure Time is in Season 9, where Jake has to accept what he really is. And that's how he gains control of those abilities, is through acceptance. And I love that. Love the message of that episode. But there's stuff out there, you guys. You guys can't cling to the same shit for... I mean, or you can and just watch the old episodes of Blue's Clues if you want to be a 25-year-old... or if you want to be a 25, 26-year-old fucking sitting in your house cuddled up watching Blue's Clues. Hey, that's your life, not mine. Live your truth. Ooh, excuse me. Live your truth. I feel like there's something else I wanted to talk about. I just cannot remember. Oh, one last thing I want to touch on. I'm sorry, y'all. I woke up at 9. I got some breakfast and some coffee. And I was like, let me hurry up and do this podcast, because I know I don't got a lot of time today. I got some stuff to do. But I'm sleepy. Yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is I don't know if there's a term for this. Like, it falls under it's definitely a gatekeeping, but it's a form of gatekeeping, I want to say. Like, preference gatekeeping, I guess. This is something I was talking about the other day. I brought it up on Facebook the other day, and people were like, when I brought it up, people were like, well, maybe you should find different circles of anime folks to be in, because people I know don't act like that. And it's not like a specific group of people I'm talking about. When I talk about, like, certain things that I like or dislike about the anime community, it's not about a group of people at all. It's general stuff I see in the community. Like, a person could say this, or it's something I see here and there sprinkled throughout the anime community, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. You know what I mean? These are just general things I see and like to comment on in the anime community, because it's a minority of toxicity in the anime community, I feel like, but it's such a vocal minority, and it's such a toxic vocal minority, too, that it has to be said. So when I say preference gatekeeping, I mean, like, say, like, you know, over the last few weeks before in the previous podcast, I was talking about my favorite anime manga series. Okay. Notice that I didn't list certain popular shows in that top. Like, I didn't say Naruto, even though I really like Naruto. I didn't say Bleach, even though I really like Bleach. I didn't say One Piece, even though I really like One Piece. Like, I really like those shows. They're just not in my top. Like, that's just how it is. I have a personal preference of favorite shows. So I said my favorite shows. Especially my, like, top 3. What was it? My top 3 is Yu Yu Hakusho, Durarara, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable. Those are my top 3 favorite anime. Love those. Anime/manga series ever. Love those. Love those series. Great stuff. And, you know, I listed my stuff off. When I get into preference, like, gatekeeping, I mean, like, people, like, so, like, say I said, like, my top 10 favorite anime. But, like I said, I didn't say One Piece, even though I like One Piece. Let's say a nigga's like, man, you call that a top 10? You don't even have One Piece on it. Or, like, you're not a real anime fan if One Piece isn't in your top 10, or you don't like One Piece, or have da-da-da-da. That's what I mean by preference gatekeeping. People who do that. Look, I don't care what you like. Don't press what you like onto me. Like, if One Piece isn't in my top 10, One Piece isn't in my top 10. If Naruto isn't in my top 10, Naruto isn't in my top 10. If Bleach isn't in my top 10, Bleach isn't in my top 10. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care how good. Notice I didn't put classic hits that are highly regarded as some of the greatest anime of all time. Cowboy Bebop wasn't in my top 10. Trigun wasn't in my top 10. Does that mean I hate them? No, because I'm allowed to like more than 10 anime. Like, I love a lot of different anime series. But a top 10 is a top 10. So picking my favorites, I pick my favorites. I love Cowboy Bebop. I love Trigun. To death. I love those series. They're just not within the top 10. And that's just how... I fucking love Gundam. None of the Gundam series I put in my top 10. But I love Gundam. It's just... People are weird like that. And you give me an anime preferences, like, say, if I did add Naruto to my top 10, it's just like, man, this nigga only put these mainstream fucking animes. Like let's say if I put, like, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece into, like, you know, my top, like, those are my top 5. Like, my top 5 favorite anime are DBZ, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, like... And fucking My Hero Academia, even though it's not finished. Like, My Hero Academia was in my top, but it was in the lower half mainly because it's not finished. But I like it so much, I just had to put it in. But let's say people are like, man, this nigga only like mainstream animes. He's not no real fan. He just like these starter pack mainstream. That's so rude. First off, like, where do people get off judging people for what they like to watch? Like, who the fuck cares if they haven't watched all these other series you watch? Should they open up their mind and try new anime? Yeah, of course. I do that all the time. Sometimes it's something I end up really liking, like Durarara. Durarara was so weird and so random, and it's something I never would have, like, really given the chance unless it... Had Durarara not just randomly aired on Toonami that one night when it did, like, years and years ago, I never would have gotten into Durarara. I never would have been, like, seeing it on Hulu and been like, ooh, I wonder what this is. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have done that. It played one night on Toonami and I was just invested. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Second favorite anime series of all time now. Love it. One of my friends said it's his favorite anime series of all time. It's one of those things where it's just like, sometimes you do have to open up your mind and you'll find things that you really enjoy. Like, I'm a shonen fanboy. I love shonens, but I love stuff that's not shonen, like Durarara, or fucking Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad. Shit, like, come on, y'all. Like, I understand that, but you can't force people to do that. You can't tell people they're not a real anime fan because they have something in their top list. Or that Fairy Tail, let's say Fairy Tail is in that top 5 too. Let's say somebody says Fairy Tail is their favorite anime or their favorite manga. People will be like, man, this nigga like shit. You like that bullshit? That's your favorite shit? That shit that rip off One Piece? That blah, 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 blah. Who cares, bro? Who cares? It's not your favorite list. It's their favorite. Like, stop gatekeeping on what people enjoy. Like, let them live. Like, I don't understand that aspect of life. Why do you feel the need to hate on someone because they like something you don't like or they don't like something you like? We're all people with brains. The whole point of thinking freely for yourself is that you have this freedom of choice. It's like the same thing with Pokemon. Guess who's not in my top 10 favorite Pokemon? Fucking Charizard. I like Charizard a lot. I like fire starters. I pick fire starters every time when I start a Pokemon game. Charizard's still not in my top 10. But guess who I like a lot? My nigga Charizard. He's just not up there. Maybe some people are going to be like, oh, what the fuck? How can Charizard not be in your top 10 favorite Pokemon? Your top 10 favorite Pokemon should all be Gen 1 or Gen 2 Pokemon. There shouldn't be any other Gen. All the other Gens suck. These designs suck. First of all, nigga, they had 2 Pokemon that were piles of sludge. One was a pile of sludge named Grimer. One was a bigger pile of sludge named Muk. Don't fucking come at me talking about Pokemon designs were bad. The new Pokemon designs are bad, and every old Pokemon design is fantastic. There's weird Pokemon designs every fucking gen. Ditto is a pink pile of Play-Doh goop. And we get it, it's supposed to change in any other Pokemon. It's still a pink pile of Play-Doh goop. You don't know what these other Pokemon that designs you don't like can do. That Pokemon design is stupid. Well, it's designed like that because it can do... No, it's stupid. Like... What if Ditto was like a Gen 6 Pokemon? I guarantee you these Gen fucking 1ers. If Ditto was... I guarantee you, if Ditto was a Gen 6 Pokemon, these Gen 1ers would fucking shit all over Ditto. Gen 1ers like Ditto's design because Ditto is from Gen 1. If Muk and Grimer were like Gen 4 Pokemon, Gen 1ers would fucking hate them. If fucking Vanillix was a Gen 1 Pokemon, Gen 1ers would defend Vanillix up and down. Alright? If Klinklang was a Gen 1 Pokemon, Gen 1ers would defend that shit to the day's end because it's from Gen 1. They like the novelty of Gen 1. They don't actually are dedicated. Like, it's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. It's because that, oh, Gen 1 was the best because it was the first one. Like, nigga. There's a... Like I said, Gen 1 is one of my favorite regions. I like Kanto a lot. I'm not a Gen 1er. I like every region. I like every Pokemon game. There just has to be a favorite and a least favorite, is all I'm saying. And I got so much love for the Kanto region, bro. Born and raised. But, it is what it is. But, anywho, I don't want to ramble too long on this, because I gotta hurry up and get things going with the day. But, yeah, this was just a chill one. Talked about Pokeball for a lot, then just random rambles. This was episode 24, damn. We're almost about done with the year. If I do end up doing a podcast every week in December, we'll have 28 episodes done of the podcast. I don't know if I want to do like a season finale kind of thing for this, because like I said, I want to try to improve overall like everything for the podcast coming into the new year, like make it more of like a season 2 feeling kind of thing. But we'll see. We'll at least get 2-3 more in before the year ends for December. But thank you guys for listening this week. Nothing too crazy going on. Just chilling, just talking. Just wanted to kick back, relax. That after Thanksgiving podcast talk. You know, a nerd gotta still get his nerd on. But I hope you guys enjoy your Friday. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. And I will see you guys next week. What we're going to be talking about, I'm not too sure yet. Maybe I'll think of a topic. Maybe I'll think of something. You know what I'm saying? But until then, I enjoy your Fridays, you guys, like I said. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. Really appreciate it. Shameless plug. Go ahead and like Art Project's page on Facebook. That is the main hub to catch updates for the podcast, updates for the story Another Random Tale. Me and the team have been meeting up more often, like almost weekly now, for like talking about story updates, things we can do to improve, and just trying to get things going for the new year. Hopefully try to get this drafting test comic out. We're working behind the scenes, working on the kinks and stuff, getting things done. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But that's the main hub if you want to know anything going on with me. Again, you guys, thanks for all the love, thanks for all the support. I know this is still a small thing in general, like everything I'm doing is, but you gotta put in the work, you gotta put in the effort, you gotta put in the time to make it something more. So, I'll catch you guys next Friday. Love you guys. Bye.